Now let's look at variable functions. So I'm going to create another PHP file called variable function. And let's start with a simple example. So let's say I have an array, which is the numbers 1, 3, 6, 10, 11, 15, 20, and 25. And let's say I want to make an array that has the odd numbers and only the odd numbers from this first array. I could write a loop to do that using for or for each, but there's a built-in function called array filter. And I can use it like this. I can say odd is equal to array under filter, and then it takes the input array, and then it takes a function that determines what should be included in the result. So what do I put here? What I want to put here is something that's going to take a number and is going to return Boolean true if the number is odd, and Boolean false if the number is even. And what I've just described is a function. So what I'm going to pass in is the name of a function called isOdd. Now this is not built into PHP, so I have to write that function. So here's the function. And it's going to take a value, and it's going to return value mod 2 equal 1. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to calculate the remainder after dividing this value by 2, which will either be 0 or 1. If the remainder is 0, that means it's even, and so 0 equal 1 is false. If the remainder is 1, 1 equal 1 means the value is odd. So let's use print r to look at the result. And so I'm going to go variable function, variable functions, and I get back 1, 3, 11, 15, and 25, which are the odd numbers from this array. Now I can also calculate the even numbers. Like so, by creating another function called isEven. And that's going to be when the remainder is equal to 0. So here are the odd ones, and here are the even ones. Now the advantage here is this array filter, it knows how to walk through the array, and it knows how to build a new array and return the result. But it doesn't have to know anything about what kind of function is being used to filter the values. So for example, I could have a function that determines whether a number is a prime, or whether it's within the bounds of a rectangle, or whether a string has a certain number of characters or not. Anything that I want to filter this array on, I can by supplying a function. And this is known, array filter is known as a higher order function, because one of its parameters is going to be the name of a regular function. And it's going to take this function and apply it to each element in this array. So there's a couple of other handy functions like this. There's one called map. So let's make a new array called times2, which is array map of $array. And the function I'm going to supply here is called multiply by 2. And let's go ahead and define that function. and it's just going to return value times 2. So what map is going to do is it's going to take this function and it's going to apply it to each element in this array, one after the other, just like filter did. But instead of keeping or filtering out the value, it's going to apply the function, take the return result, and then create a new array with all those new values in it. So that's what times 2 is going to be. So let's print the original array. And let's go ahead and add a break. And then let's print our times 2. And I'll add a break here, and I'll add one as well here. And now when I reload, so for reasons that are obscure, the order of the arguments to array map is actually opposite the order of arguments to array filter. So here I have to actually say multiply by 2, comma, $ARR. Now let's try it. Great. So here's my original array. And then here's a new array, 1, 2, 3, 6, 6, 12, 10, 20, 11, 22, 15, 30, and so on. So I can't tell you why the order of arguments is backwards here, but it is. And then another higher order function that also takes a function as arguments is reduce. So let's implement array sum using reduce. Sum is equal to array reduce, and this is going to take the array first, and then it's going to take a function which takes 2 parameters. So we'll call that sum item. And then the definition for sum item is it's going to take a carry value and an item value. And it's going to return carry plus item. So basically this carry is going to start at 0 or null by default. And then for each item in this array, it's going to pass in the carry and the item. It'll calculate the sum of those two things, and then it'll move on to the next element in the array with a new carry, which was the previous sum, and a new item, which is the next thing in the array. And it's going to go through the whole thing, and then the final result of array reduce is going to be the final value of carry. So it will keep a running total, and then return that running total as sum. So let's go ahead and echo that. And then let's also calculate the sum of times 2. So this one should be twice. This one should be twice what this one is. So sum of the first one is 91. 1, 4, 10, 20, 31, 46, 66, 91. So 91, and then these are all times 2, so 182.